Beloved Scorpio, if these words are reaching you right now, know this. It is not by accident. This is a sacred invitation from the universe. A gentle summons whispered through the threads of destiny, arriving precisely when your soul is ready to receive it. A miracle is on its way to you, but not all miracles arrive with fanfare. Some come wrapped in endings and quiet revelations, in the deep exhale after a long-held ache. And yet, I'm here to remind you, none of it has been in vain. Every scar, every silence, every surrender has been preparing you for this moment. You were not chosen randomly. This gift is not a result of luck. It comes because you dared to feel deeply to rise after breaking to keep loving when your heart had every reason to close. It comes because the world needs the quiet power that lives inside of you. And now on this day, May 30th, 2025, you begin to feel it. Not in loud declarations, but in subtle shifts. A door that once seemed sealed starts to creak open. An intuition you once dismissed returns with uncanny clarity. A sense of peace begins to move in softly, like morning light. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore this miracle more closely. The hidden shifts in your career and finances. The emotional currents stirring your relationships and healing. And the spiritual symbols and synchronicities guiding you back to yourself. So stay with me. Stay open. You don't have to chase what's coming. You only have to let it reach you. Scorpio, are you ready to receive what your soul has been secretly preparing for all along? You are standing at the very threshold of a sacred turning point. Scorpio, a moment suspended between the echo of everything you've endured and the quiet unfolding of what your soul has been reaching toward even in the dark. You may not have seen the full picture yet, but your spirit has been preparing. Every tear you've shed in silence, every chapter that ended before you were ready, every night you spent wondering if the struggle would ever give way to light, none of it was wasted. These were not detours. They were alignments. What felt like breaking was in truth an unlayering, a shedding of all that could no longer hold the magnitude of who you are becoming. You see, the universe never operates by accident. It speaks not in loud signs, but in subtle tremors, in the quiet way your heart feels heavier before a breakthrough, in the way life sometimes rearranges itself in uncomfortable ways just before a miracle takes shape. This shift you're sensing now is not a fantasy, not wishful thinking. It is real. It is near, and it has been shaped specifically for you. This is not about receiving some external reward for surviving pain. It is about becoming the version of yourself who can hold something truly extraordinary without collapsing under the weight of it. Because the truth is, Scorpio, the miracle that's approaching isn't just an answer to a prayer. It's a reflection of your resilience, your inner refinement, your quiet power. You didn't just wait for healing. You chose it even when it meant walking alone. You didn't just hope for transformation. You bled for it layer by layer, truth by truth. So now, as the energy around you begins to shift, you may feel that your world is softening, not because life has suddenly become easy, but because you have become more anchored. You are not the same Scorpio who once begged the world for clarity. You are now the one who commands it by your very presence. What's coming next does not require effort. It requires openness. And you are finally deeply ready for that. Scorpio, you need to know this. The universe has not overlooked your quiet bravery. It has seen the countless moments when you could have turned cold, but chose instead to remain soft. It remembers the times when you could have snapped back in anger, but answered with silence and grace. It holds close the memories of every time you put someone else's well-being above your own, even when your own heart was aching for care. These small choices, the ones no one applauded, the ones you made alone in the dark, have not gone unseen. There is a sacred energy that forms around a soul like yours. A magnetic field woven not from perfection, but from intention. Every time you chose kindness, when you had every right to be bitter, every time you reached out in compassion, while still tending your own wounds, you carved an invisible signature into the spiritual fabric of your reality. A signature that now calls blessings towards you, like a lighthouse drawing ships home in the storm. You have been radiating a frequency that only those who have suffered with dignity can emit. It is not loud, but it is powerful. It is not flashy, but it is unmistakable to the divine. You are being met with grace now, not because life suddenly favors you, but because your actions have made you into someone who can now receive what is real, what is lasting, what is aligned with truth. You did not chase shortcuts or manipulate outcomes. You chose integrity even when it cost you dearly. And that choice again and again has formed the foundation upon which your coming miracle will stand. What you are about to receive is not a reward for doing everything right. It is a response to your vibration, the natural outcome of your courage, your honesty, and your refusal to let this world harden you. The energy you've been sending out for years is now circling back not as echoes, but as answered prayers in full bloom. And all you have to do now is trust that you are worthy of what you've summoned. Scorpio, there is a part of you, ancient, intuitive, quietly powerful, that has always sensed when something is coming even before it arrives. And yet that same part of you often feels the need to prepare for every outcome, to anticipate every turn, to protect yourself from the unknown by mapping it in advance. But this moment, this miracle that is slowly making its way into your life, will not respond to strategy, logic, or control. It is not something to be orchestrated. It is something to be received. The truth is, the more sacred the gift, the more gently it arrives. It does not crash into your life demanding to be seen. It waits until your hands are open, until your heart is soft, until your grip on expectation has loosened, just enough for it to land. You don't need to figure out the how. You only need to whisper yes to the possibility. And I know that letting go feels like surrendering your power, but in this case, it is the deepest expression of your strength. You are not being asked to lead right now. You are being asked to trust, to stand still as the universe moves around you in elegant, unseen choreography, to believe that even when you do nothing but remain open, the divine is still working tirelessly on your behalf. And Scorpio, that may feel unnatural because you are a sign of depth, of penetration, of intensity. You want to know, you want to understand, but this chapter requires a softer kind of knowing, the kind that lives in the bones, not in the mind. The kind that whispers, I don't know where this is going, but I know it is good. Let the miracle come in its own way. Let it surprise you. Let it defy every plan you once clung to. There is so much beauty waiting for you in the spaces you cannot yet predict. You are not losing control. You are gaining alignment. And when this gift arrives, because it will, you will realize that it was never meant to be chased. It was always meant to find you. Scorpio, the miracle that is approaching your life is not arriving solely for your comfort, your healing, or your reward. It is arriving because your transformation is meant to become a lighthouse for others who are still lost in their own storms. What you are about to receive is not just a private blessing. It is a ripple, a flame that will catch light in places you may never even see. And that is the sacred paradox of this moment. It looks like it's just about you, but it is already larger than you. You see, the universe does not waste miracles. When it chooses a soul to carry something extraordinary, it chooses the one whose heart has been softened by suffering, whose spirit has been sharpened by truth, and whose compassion runs deeper than appearances. That is you, Scorpio. You who have loved with a trembling heart, who have continued even when hope felt like a thread unraveling in your hands. You who have looked into your own shadows and chosen not to flinch. You are not only worthy of this miracle, you are the perfect vessel for it to multiply. When the blessing arrives, and it will, your very presence will begin to shift the energy of every room you enter. Not because you try, but because healed people radiate. The peace you carry will be felt by those who haven't yet found their own. The joy in your voice will offer proof to the weary that light still returns. The way you walk through your days, rooted, open, alive, will quietly teach others that maybe they too can believe again. Not through preaching, not through grand declarations, but through embodiment. You, Scorpio, are becoming living evidence that faith is not foolish, that hope is not naive, that there is something benevolent beneath the chaos of this world. And this perhaps is the most beautiful part of all. Your miracle will not end with you. It will echo. It will inspire. It will lift. And somewhere someday, someone will remember their own light simply because you allowed yours to shine. On this sacred day of May 30th, 2025, the skies whisper of a shift not only in your soul, but also in the material realms that sustain you. Your work, your income, your relationship with abundance. And I need you to hear this clearly. Something is realigning. Not because you've hustled harder, but because you've begun to believe you are finally worthy of more. For so long, your journey with money may have felt like a contradiction, one moment flowing the next, disappearing without reason. There may have been seasons where you gave more than you received, where your talents went unnoticed, where your worth was weighed in silence. But that story is being rewritten now, and not through effort alone, but through energetic permission. You are beginning to hold yourself differently, no longer apologizing for your power, no longer shrinking your desires to make others comfortable. And the universe is responding. You may notice subtle shifts. A project long forgotten suddenly brings an unexpected revenue. Someone mentions your name in a room that leads to opportunity, or you feel called to make a bold financial move you wouldn't have dared before. Trust these nudges. The 8th house, your domain of shared resources. Transformation and deep value is being lit by cosmic forces that ask you to claim not just income, but empowerment. The kind of wealth that aligns with your inner truth, not the illusions of external status. You are being prepared to receive in a way that matches the depth you've given. This is not surface-level success. This is legacy. And it begins with one belief: I am allowed to prosper without guilt. I am allowed to thrive and still be whole. So if money has been a mirror of lack in the past, prepare now for it to become a mirror of expansion. You are not defined by what was broken, ghosted, or misunderstood. You are becoming someone who can love again, not from the wound, but from the wisdom. For those of you in a relationship, expect a moment of emotional transparency today. Perhaps a conversation, a glance, a silence that finally says what words never could. Allow space for honesty. There is healing to be found, not in fixing each other, but in witnessing each other clearly, gently, without control. If your connection is true, it will deepen through this. If it is false, it will dissolve, and that too will be a gift. For those walking alone right now, this is not loneliness. This is recalibration. The universe has been weaving threads between you and someone whose energy will match yours, not just mirror your past. But you must meet them from your healed self. You must become the sanctuary you once begged others to build for you. Only then will love arrive, not to rescue, but to rise with you. Today is about forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. For trusting the wrong people, for staying too long, for loving more than they could receive. It wasn't foolish, Scorpio. It was proof that you're alive. Your heart is not damaged. It is seasoned, sacred, and ready. Scorpio, if you've made it here to the end of this sacred message, know that you have already begun the process of receiving, not because of anything you've done in this moment, but because your soul is finally still enough to hear the truth. You are no longer waiting for a miracle. You are becoming the space in which it can land. This is just another reading. This is a mirror held up to remind you of everything you've survived, everything you've shed, everything you've silently reassembled within yourself, just to be able to stand here today open-hearted and unafraid. You are not the same version of you that once begged the world for signs. Today you are the sign. You are the proof that healing is real, that softness and power are not opposites, but companions, that even when the world tries to silence your light, you still burn quietly, fiercely, unrelentingly. What happens next will not require striving. It will require presence. You will not need to chase, only to notice. Doors will begin to shift. Conversations will take on new depth. You will find yourself responding to old circumstances with new eyes, new breath, new boundaries. And when the blessing appears as a person, an opportunity, a revelation, or a release, you will not question it. You will remember this moment. You will remember these words. And you will say softly to yourself, "Yes, I was ready." So as you move forward into the days ahead, I ask only this: do not shrink. Do not doubt the vastness of what is being offered to you now. Hold your head like a soul who remembers its worth. Speak your truth like someone who no longer fears loss. Walk your path like someone whose ancestors, guides, and unseen protectors are walking beside you, because they are. Scorpio, you are not broken. You are blooming. And this life, this miracle is not just coming for you. It's coming through you for everyone who will be touched by your light. Until next time, stay open, stay grounded, and most of all, stay true to the fire that never left you.